Our directions for Work Together 2-2, it says, T accounts are given below. Your instructor will guide you through the following example. Kathy Burgum owns Burgum Services. It uses the following accounts. Some accounts will be explained in Lesson 2-3. So just to see some of these accounts we haven't dealt with, but we'll deal with them in our next assignment. What I'm doing is I'm skipping over where it says transactions here, and I'm going to jump down to make sure I read the directions. So I'm reading out directions first. And the direction says, prepare 2 T accounts for each transaction. On each T account, write the account title of one of the accounts affected by the transaction. For each transaction, the first T account should be the account debited, and the second one should be the account credited. Note, the computer will grade your assignment as correct only if the T accounts are in that order. So you need to remember that debit accounts need to go first, and then we need to write the debit or credit amount in the T account to show the transaction. I'll make sure I walk you through that. Except it's not loading for me. Excellent. The first transaction does read while mine is opening. Receive cash from an owner as an investment, $5,000. So I just kind of walk through some of these examples here. So when we take a look at the account, we really can't fill anything in until we know for sure we know which one is being debited and which one is being credited. So Evan, what's one of the accounts from this transaction? Cash. Okay? Cash is what type of an account? Asset, liability, or owner's equity? What is the normal balance of cash? Debit or credit? Debit. Do we have more cash or less cash? So therefore, because we are having more cash, and cash is an asset and it has a debit normal balance, cash is going to be our first account. This is all the same questions I was just asking on the board. So how much is cash going to be affected by? $5,000. And we already determined this is the first account, so it has to be debited, so we have to put it on the left-hand side. So my next account we need to figure out, receive cash from owner as an investment. So we have to go through and look at that. Caleb, what would my other account be? April 1st. Kathy Burgum Capital. What kind of account is that? Asset, liability, or owner's equity? What side of the accounting equation is it on? Normal balance. Correct. So with this transaction, Caleb, do we have more in owner's equity or less in owner's equity? More. So we have to do it on the more side. And because you told me its normal balance is credit, I'm going to credit it $5,000. April 2nd, paid cash for supplies. Carson, what's one account for paid cash for supplies? Cash. What type of an account is cash? Asset, liability, or owner's equity? What is the normal balance of an asset? Debit. Now, Carson, from this account, do we have more cash or less cash? So are we debiting or crediting cash? Credit. So I need to put cash second. Okay, so he already told me that we're crediting cash, so I'm going to put it there for $50. Jory, what's the other account for this transaction on April 2nd? Supplies. So I can fill in supplies here right away because we know that's the other account being affected. Jory, what is the normal balance of supplies? Debit. Do we have more supplies or less supplies? More. So we are going to debit supplies $50. April 5th, paid cash for an insurance. Alec, what is one of account that's being affected there? Cash. Okay. What is the normal balance of, what is the account classification of cash? Asset, liability. What's its normal balance? So for this transaction, Alex, do we have more cash or less cash? So therefore, what do we have to do to cash, debit or credit? Correct. So cash is going to go second. I had to ask all of those questions first before I could type anything in. So cash is being credited for this one by $75. Ellie, what's the other account that's being affected on April 5th? Prepaid insurance. Prepaid insurance is what type of an account, Ellie? Asset, liability, or owner's equity? Asset, normal balance? Debit, because it's on the left-hand side. Do we have more cash, or excuse me, do we have more prepaid insurance or less prepaid insurance? More. So we're going to debit prepaid insurance, $75. April 6th. Bought supplies on an account from Bale Supply. Jordan, what's one account? Supplies. Supplies is what type of an account? An asset. What is its normal balance? So are we going to debit or credit supplies? Debit, correct. So we're going to put that one first. Carson, can you give me the other half of this transaction on April 6th? What would my other account be? April 6th. Don't go ahead. Okay, accounts payable, Bale Supply. And that's the only one that's left, so I can fill that in. Accounts payable, Bale Supply, Carson, is what type of an account? Okay, do we owe accounts payable, Bale Supply more money or less money? What is the increased side of a liability? So we therefore need to credit accounts payable, Bale Supply, $100. One more that I'm doing with you. Your homework is going to be harder than this. Paid cash on an account to Bale Supply. Dylan, give me one account. Cash. Okay, cash is what type of an account? Asset. Normal balance? Do we have more cash or less cash because of this transaction? So we are crediting it because you just told me the normal balance is a debit. So cash is going second. And cash is going to be credited $50. Jory, what's my other account for April 9th? Accounts payable, Bale Supply. Now, accounts payable, Bale Supply is what type of an account? What is its normal balance? Do we owe accounts payable, Bale Supply less money or more money because of this transaction? So we are going to debit or credit that account. Thank you. I saw many of you already opened up your on your own. Go ahead and work through that one. When you are done with your on your own application, problem 2-2 is turned on. It's set up exactly the same way we did our work together on your own. Please remember you have to get your debit account first. You could have your debits and credits done correctly but have the wrong account listed first, and it will mark the entire thing wrong for you. So I just want to make sure you realize the account that you're debiting has to go first, just like I've done in the example. So feel free to finish up on your own, and then go ahead and work on the application problem. And then for tomorrow, please read 2-3. 2-3 is really confusing. And just to throw a wrench into it, I won't be here on Wednesday. So I'm going to teach you tomorrow 2-3, which is the most confusing part of the whole entire chapter. And then I won't be here to help you. But Accounting 2 students can be here to help explain, to figure out the normal balance of our accounts that affect owner's equity.